Okay, so we just finished the fourth step in this process of mesh current analysis, where we identified the super meshes, and then we wrote the source current in terms of the mesh currents. And we did that for both of these super meshes. So the last step is Kirchhoff's, okay, in this case it's going to be Kirchhoff's voltage law because we're doing mesh current analysis. And what we want to do is we want to write Kirchhoff's voltage law for all meshes that don't have current sources on the perimeter. So actually we don't have any current sources on the perimeter, so that's not an issue. But so we do need to do Kirchhoff's voltage law for all the meshes. And in this step, we mean super meshes. If there were any super meshes, then that's where you need to do Kirchhoff's current law. If you have meshes inside super meshes, you do not do Kirchhoff's current law there. So that means, really, we've got two places we're going to do Kirchhoff's current law. Now I'm going to show this is a complicated problem because it had like two super meshes that were right next to each other. So that actually created this, what I'm going to call super mesh. So I'm going to have to do Kirchhoff's current law for the I'm going to call it super mesh. So it's actually a combination of mesh 1, 3, and 4. Right? Because we had these current sources here, so it kind of combined the meshes on either side. Then we had this current source that combined the super mesh with the mesh on this side, so I've got kind of like a super mesh. So I'm going to do Kirchhoff's current law for that super mesh. You know, that's going to be fun. So -2 plus, let's see. All right, so here we've got 2 ohms, and look at the branch current is I1 minus I2. And then continuing on, we've got this 1 ohm. Let's see, what's the current through there? It's I3 minus I2. And then here we've got a voltage source here. 3ix, okay? Don't let yourself get confused about the fact that sometimes you've got a dependent voltage source which is controlled by a current. But the units on this 3ix, are voltage. This is not a current, it's a voltage. This messes students up all the time. Don't get confused by that. This is a voltage source. Look at it, it's a voltage source. So this is a voltage, even though it looks like a current, it's not. So, and because I'm going in this direction, it's minus 3ix. And then, let's see, finally, okay, so this 2 ohms here, it's 2 times I4, right? Because I'd rather put it in terms of the mesh currents here. So that's 2I4. And I think I'm done. I think I'm back where I started, yeah. So I'm back at the minus 2 volts. So all of this equals 0. All right, so that was my first Kirchhoff's voltage law equation in step 5 here. So then I just got one more to do. Kirchhoff's, whoops, that wasn't a current law, I'm sorry, that was a voltage law. And now I'm going to do Kirchhoff's voltage law for mesh 2. Do not forget to tell me what you're doing. This is very important. Otherwise, I just, you may have the wrong equation, I don't know. I may not recognize it. You've got to tell me. If you don't tell me, I hate to say it, but you're probably going to lose points. So please let me know exactly what you're doing. Here I'm doing Kirchhoff's voltage law for mesh 2. Okay, so let's see. We've got 2 times I2 minus I1 plus 1 times I2 plus 3ix, because again, that is a voltage, even though it looks like a current, it's not, it's a voltage. And then plus 1 times I2 minus I3. And now I'm back at the beginning, so I went around the whole mesh. There's my equation. So let's look at what we have here. In step 4, where I ID'd the super meshes and then I wrote the currents of the source in terms of the mesh currents, this step here is when you get an equation for that step, that's the first of your n equations in n unknowns. How many unknowns do I have here? It's 4. It's the 4 mesh currents. I need 4 equations. So these were the first of those 4. So if I label this equation 1, this equation 2, and then the other 2 equations came from step 5, writing Kirchhoff's voltage law. This is equation 3, this is equation 4. I claim that I have 4 equations in the 4 unknowns that I'm looking for. I1, I2, I3, and I4. Now, you should almost agree with me, but there's actually 2 problems. Here's an unknown that's not a mesh current. Let's see the other ones. And here, Ix is an unknown that's not a mesh current. But look, that's what step 3 was about. Just substitute Ix is equal to minus I4. That is a mesh current. So you substitute, every time you see Ix, just put in minus I4. And then for Vy, it's I1 minus I2 times 2. Now I hope I've convinced you that these are 4 equations in 4 unknowns. I would say at this point in the problem, just tell me, I have, or say equations 1 through 4 are 4 equations in 4 unknowns. And then tell me what the unknowns are. I1, I2, I3, and I4. I can solve for, actually, what do we even, I can solve for Ix. So I can solve for I4, which is equal to minus Ix, QED. What about VC? What the hell is VC? What? Okay, I don't think I copied that. You know something? There's no VC. I think that must have been a typo. They must have wanted Vy, because there's no VC in this problem. They must have meant Vy. Okay, so, and so Vy, you can just get it by plugging in the I1 minus I2. So I'm not going to do that math. I could do it. It would take a while. I just don't want to. Sorry. Bye.